September 1720. The share price of the South Sea Company collapses, 80% of its value gone in 6 weeks. Fortunes built over a generation vanish in a single afternoon on Exchange Alley. In January, a single share costs £128. By June, over £1,000. By September, £150. £20 million of wealth erased from the ledger. The directors of the South Sea Company stand accused of systematic fraud against the investing public. Parliament demands an immediate inquiry. Across London, families who wagered everything discover their savings no longer exist. This is not a story about a market crash. It is a story about the men who engineered one, who inflated the price, bribed Parliament, and walked away with the money. It starts with a man named John Blunt, a former scrivener with no title, no fortune, and no scruples, but with a gift for selling impossible promises to powerful men. To understand how one man nearly bankrupted the most powerful nation on earth, we need to go back 9 years, to 1711, to London, and to a war the Crown cannot afford. The War of the Spanish Succession has drained England's treasury dry. The government owes £9 million to an army of creditors. They want their money. The treasury has nothing to give them. Robert Harley, Lord Treasurer, proposes a radical solution. Create a new joint stock company. Grant it exclusive trading rights to the entire coast of South America. In exchange, it absorbs the national debt. On paper, the scheme is elegant. Government creditors exchange their bonds for shares in a new trading company. The Crown's massive obligations vanish from the national ledger. Everyone wins. That is what Harley promises. £9 million of government debt, absorbed by a company with no ships, no established trade routes, and no revenue of any kind. Remember that number. It is about to get much larger. The company does secure one real contract, the asiento, the right to supply enslaved Africans to Spanish colonies, 4,800 human beings per year. This is the company's only actual business. The asiento also permits one trading ship per year to Spanish ports. One ship for a company capitalized at £9 million and sold to investors as a gateway to unlimited South American wealth. But in the coffeehouses of Exchange Alley, the name South Sea is spoken with reverence. A company backed by the Crown, endorsed by Parliament, with exclusive rights to an entire continent. What could go wrong? Here is what nobody mentions in those coffeehouses. Spain controls South America. Spain has no intention of granting trade access to any British venture. The trading monopoly at the heart of this company is fiction. John Blunt, former scrivener, self-made, ruthless. He has already promoted the Sword Blade Bank and a failed government lottery scheme. He knows exactly how to dress a fantasy in the language of finance. What Blunt understands, and what the speculators pouring into Exchange Alley do not, is that the trading rights are irrelevant. The product is not spices or silver. The product is the stock itself. In 1718, John Aislabie becomes Chancellor of the Exchequer, the most powerful financial position in all of England. He controls the treasury and the national debt. Blunt takes very careful notice. Blunt approaches Parliament with a proposal that will change the course of English history. Let the South Sea Company absorb not just £9 million, but the entire £31 million of national debt. £9 million was the original absorption. Now Blunt proposes £31 million, more than 3 times larger. He sweetens the deal. The company will pay the government £7.5 million for the privilege. The players are now in position. Blunt designs the scheme. Aislabie controls the treasury. Robert Knight manages the company's books. And the King of England himself serves as the company's own governor. Half of Parliament already holds South Sea shares. The men who are supposed to regulate this company are personally invested in its success. The fox is not just guarding the henhouse, he built it. January 1720, Parliament passes the South Sea Company Bill by a comfortable margin. £7.5 million change hands. The most sophisticated market manipulation in financial history is now in motion. Step 1. Manufacture demand. Blunt opens share subscriptions to the public, but here is the trick. You do not pay the full price, just a small deposit. The company lends you the rest. The money moves in a circle. Investors borrow from the company to buy its shares. Rising prices justify more lending. More lending drives prices higher. It is a perpetual motion machine, powered by debt. Share price in January, £128. February, 180. March, 330. No new trade routes opened, no ships dispatched, just leveraged speculation compounding on itself. In Jonathan's coffee house, a clerk boasts of tripling his wages in a single week. A widow shows her subscription receipt like a winning lottery ticket. Everyone has a story. Everyone is getting rich. South Sea is not alone. Hundreds of new joint stock ventures spring up overnight. A company for extracting silver from lead. Another for a wheel of perpetual motion. London has lost its collective mind. April 1720. Blunt opens a second share subscription, this time priced at £400 per share. More than 3 times the January price, it sells out in a matter of hours. April, £400. May, £550. Each new subscription is priced higher than the last. Each one sells faster. The company is printing shares like a government printing currency. But the scheme requires silence from Parliament. So Robert Knight, the company cashier, begins distributing shares, free of charge, to members of Parliament, to lords, and to the King's own mistresses. Knight's private ledger, the book he will later try to destroy, records every bribe in meticulous detail. The Duchess of Kendal, the King's mistress, shares worth £11,000. Chancellor Aislabie, far more. Robert Knight, the quiet man with the most dangerous book in England. Every bribe, every secret allocation, every political favor, all of it recorded in his own careful hand, in permanent ink. So who made the money? Let's follow the dead ledger. The directors purchase shares days before each public subscription. They announce the subscription. New buyers pour in. The price rises. Then the directors sell, quietly, through intermediaries, into the very frenzy they created. June 1720, the share price touches £1,050. All of London is euphoric. Members of Parliament raise their glasses to the South Sea Company. While they celebrate, John Blunt is selling. Company records will later show that directors sold over £3 million in personal stock during June and July. While telling the public to buy, they were quietly liquidating every share they owned. What the public sees: a thriving trading company endorsed by the Crown and by Parliament. What the directors know: the South Sea Company has no meaningful revenue, no real trade, and no commercial future whatsoever. Exchange Alley is overwhelmed. Servants mortgage their wages, widows pledge their last inheritance. Clergy sell church silver to buy South Sea shares. From chambermaids to countesses, an entire nation is gambling on one stock. Blunt's legislative masterstroke, the Bubble Act. In June 1720, he persuades Parliament to outlaw every rival joint stock company in England. South Sea's competition is now illegal. Blunt has cornered the entire market. But the Bubble Act backfires catastrophically. Investors forced to liquidate their rival stocks need cash immediately. They start selling South Sea shares to raise it. The first visible cracks appear in Blunt's perfect machine. August 1720, South Sea shares drop from over £1,000 to £800 in just 14 days. The selling feeds on itself. In the coffee houses of London, euphoria is replaced by something new: fear. Desperate, the board of directors votes to guarantee a 50% annual dividend for the next 10 years. A promise backed by nothing. It is a dying man writing checks his corpse cannot cash. The coffee house is empty. Exchange Alley, packed with eager buyers just weeks ago, is now lined with desperate sellers offering shares at any price. No one is buying. There is no floor. Late August into September, £800, £700, £500, £400. Each morning the price opens lower than the last. Each drop triggers margin calls. More forced selling. The spiral has no bottom. The company's lending created the bubble. Now it demands repayment. Investors who borrowed at 1,000 owe loans on shares worth 400. The mathematics are merciless. The debts remain. The value is gone. September 1720. The machine built on credit, deception, and the corruption of Parliament begins to consume itself. The bill has finally come due, and there is no money to pay it. The Sword Blade Bank, Blunt's personal bank and the South Sea Company's lender, stops honouring its notes. Crowds form in Lombard Street. The run begins. It will not stop. 1,050, 800, 600, 400, 200, 150. In 9 weeks, South Sea shares lose 85% of their value. £20 million gone. And then Robert Knight vanishes. The company cashier, the only man alive who has recorded every bribe, boards a packet boat to Calais under cover of darkness. He takes the ledger with him. Parliament orders Knight's immediate arrest. He is detained in Antwerp, but the Austrian Netherlands refuse to extradite him. Someone powerful, someone whose name appears in that ledger, wants those books to stay closed. Parliament forms a secret committee to investigate. Its findings are devastating. The charges: systematic fraud, insider dealing, bribery of Crown officials, and market manipulation on a scale the law has no precedent for. The committee puts the question directly: did the directors sell their personal shares while urging the public to buy? The company records provide the answer. They sold everything before the collapse, every single director. John Aislabie, Chancellor of the Exchequer, is expelled from Parliament and locked in the Tower of London. His estates are seized. The South Sea directors are stripped of their fortunes one by one. John Blunt, stripped of his wealth from £383,000 to just £5,000, but he escapes the Tower. He always escapes the Tower. Blunt avoids the worst of it. Isaac Newton, the greatest mind of his generation, loses £20,000 in South Sea stock. He writes, "I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people." Thousands of families are destroyed, widows who mortgaged their homes, merchants who pledged their businesses, servants who gambled every penny of their wages, an entire generation's savings fed to men who already had enough. Insiders inflate a stock. They bribe the men who should regulate it. The public buys at the top. The crash comes. 3 centuries later, the playbook has not changed, only the names.